So here to present our update, our CEO update, is our CEO, Mr. Eric Dahl.
Thank you very much. Good morning. It was a pleasure meeting a lot of you last night, and I see a lot of new faces this morning, so welcome to all of you. This morning I wanted to give you a quick update on some of the core areas of our activity of the association. So I'll be talking to you a little bit about the financial situation of the WTCA, how have we been performing in terms of revenues and costs and so forth. The second topic I will cover will be around regional strategies, and to give you a sense of how we are doing in different parts of the world, and what are the challenges, and what are the strategies, and what's our thinking. And again, this will be my personal view. Following this presentation, there will be a digital update also by Julia. So I will touch on the digital platform, but I will not go into detail. As far as question and answer, we'll have ample time for that afterwards. We'll be covering all topics. So we want to make this very interactive, so I'll try to keep my presentation short. Before I start, I would like to introduce Estelle Leclerc, who joined us this summer as the Regional Development Manager for Europe. She has a long time from the World Trade Center Lille. She's very experienced. So she's been active now for about 3 months, helping us get to grips with our European situations. The other person I would like to point out is our new Technology Solutions Specialist, Aaron Manansing. So I can safely say that for the first time since joining the association, I feel we really have a capacity in the technology area. So he's been with us for about 2 months, and we're already making great impact, great progress on the platform. So a lot of the discussion over the next few days will be related to technology. So, seek out Aaron also individually and ask him questions or give him your viewpoints. So regional overview, platform, and then I'll make some remarks about how we are thinking about next year. Maybe I should perhaps comment a little bit about what I see around the world in terms of the regional characteristics. In China, we have a situation where sort of 80% of the network has come in during the last 4 or 5 years. So we have a huge number of new members. It's a very fragmented market. Typically, each member has 1 license. So it's not a concentration in terms of ownership. It's a very fragmented ownership picture. And these World Trade Centers are really screaming out for services and support, how to get started. And it has to be also, both on the facility side, how do we build a World Trade Center that fits the need of being a great World Trade Center? Exhibition space, office space, retail, hotel, and so forth. So they're looking for our guidance in that area. And even more importantly, they're also looking for trade services, how to get started. As you know, we open up our Beijing office, and this is what Scott Wang and his team are working very hard on. So their primary task is really not selling new licenses, it's much more serving the base members there. And there is a very good dialogue. The Chinese members are very active. A number of them are here today. They're very active, very proactive, and they have great ambition to build a great network, and I'm sure they will succeed. In India, we have a different situation. India actually this year will be our biggest contributor. We'll sell more licenses in India this year than in China or any other market in the world. In India, we have a totally different structure. We have 3 large owners that basically have 80% plus of the network and 100% of all the options. We have the MVRDC group, the Mumbai group, which was the original license holder for India. Very strong on services, very well known in the Indian market. But for many years, it was really the only World Trade Center. In the last 3-4 years, now we are up to 20. And they've all come in a very short period of time. And we have now 2 new ownership groups that are very strong. We have, MVRDC are primarily in Western India. In the south, we now are working very closely with the Brigade Group. They have a number of licenses in Bangalore and Chennai and other places, and expanding in the south. In the north, we are working with the Spire World Group very much. Also has numerous licenses and options, very aggressive in terms of growth. very strong in Delhi and the northern region up to Kashmir and Rajasthan. So we have 3 players, and then we have some regional. We have a strong player in Kolkata, the Dut Group, and so forth. But the structure in India is different from the point of view that these 3 owners have the resources to develop their own services. So there's less of an immediate demand, but I think the next step for India will be to try to connect these 3 groups and really create this great India network. So this is a little bit in the pipeline. How do we address India? And I think this is something we will address next year. Coming now to Europe, as we heard, Estelle is now on board. And step 1 is really for us to really get a good grip on the situation in terms of having better data on our European members. But then the second step, which is starting at this conference, is really to engage with the European members and to really get the best ideas so that we can funnel that into our investments for next year and this year. So our priorities has to be set for Europe from the members of Europe. In terms of regions then, next year, I see North America as the one that we have to tackle. I don't think that's going to be in the form of perhaps a regional development manager for North America, meaning US, Canada. I think it's more something we should handle from the New York office, which would mean a lot of senior involvement in connecting with our North American, US and Canadian members. So this is something very high on our thinking, and let's discuss it during the next few days, what kind of support the North American members are looking for. So I look forward to really engaging on that topic. And then finally, in Latin America, very, very strong network, probably the strongest network of all. Largely facility-based. We have some tremendous World Trade Centers in Mexico and South America. I've personally been to Venezuela, Valencia, which is fantastic. Sao Paulo, as you know, is a great one. Chile, Santiago, Chile, just recently certified. Fantastic. So the owners in Latin America are typically very well funded. They have great facilities, and they also offer trade services. So they're doing the right things. So I guess that's what I will just say at this level. Of course, in the regional discussions, you'll be going much deeper into each one, but just to give everyone a little bit an understanding of our opportunities and our challenges. But I'm very hopeful that we will get a more balanced portfolio of members within the next few years. Let's talk about the platform. So just for the basics, the platform, when we talk about the platform, we're talking about 2 things. We're talking about the public website, which is public facing, and then we're talking about the intranet, which is a login page for you, the members. And when we started developing the platform, we felt that the urgency was more on the website. I personally feel that the old website was an embarrassment. Something where the branding was not there, the traffic was not there, the user experience was not there. So the first year we focused, right or wrong, very much on the website, and we got a number of profiles uploaded, and it is my hope and expectation that over time you will see the value of having this sort of uniform branding, uniform profiling of our members. So that's the website. The intranet is what we're working on now. 90% of our effort right now is on the intranet. And over the next few days, we will tell you a little bit what we're doing. Following my presentation, Julia Knoke will take you through a little bit some of the new items we're working on and show you how you can use it. Because usage is still a problem. It's there, but not enough of you are logging on and using it. So adaption is really the key word. Adaption and continued development, and I'll talk about what's in the pipeline. So as far as the website, it's basically in place. The branding is much better than the old, better navigation, more information about you and the association. We've linked it to social media, to LinkedIn, Facebook, and so forth. And it's responsive on device, so it's a tablet responsive, it's smartphone responsive. So it's a modern platform. As far as the intranet, what has been launched is the resource center, which is really a library that you can access for relevant information, things that we think will be useful for you. And that part will just expand and get better and better, and we're going to make it searchable, and we're counting on a lot of input from the members also. So all interesting content, case examples, brand kit, video, training videos, and so forth. It'll all be it's all on the resource center, and that is just going to keep on expanding and getting better. We introduced also a few months ago the e-newsletter, which has a lot of benefits. We also launched the online application form, which also has benefits. I'll come back to that in a second. What is coming now, within the next few weeks, is a reciprocity desk, and this is something we're going to be talking about a lot today. I'll come back to that, and also getting just easier access, so make it more user-friendly for you to access and to search and to find quickly what you need. So the newsletter, we launched it 3-4 months ago. It's really great. We are getting about 25% more content from the members. It cuts down on our time to having to edit articles. It just goes straight into we made it very easy for you to post an article. So try it out. If you have something to say about your region, your World Trade Center, post it. And also this goes into a database which is searchable. So you can, as this gets better, we can go back and search for topics or World Trade Center information. It'll all be in a database. The application, you can say, okay, you are members, so what do you care? But I would argue that you should be very happy about this, because from a brand experience, from a first impression of the association, this gives a much better impression than the old format where you would have to download, fill out, scan, fax, post. Now it's in real time, and again, it allows us through a dashboard to follow the flow of applications. It's much more efficient for the applicant to fill it out, and it's much more efficient for us to process. So again, it cuts down on our time, which allows more time for us to devote on member-facing activities. So I think this is a great accomplishment. Reciprocity desk, that's coming in a few weeks. And let me just say a few words about that. If you think about our network, the way it has been working, ever since I came here, I heard all this talk about reciprocity, and that there's not enough reciprocity, and reciprocity is not working, because you send a request to a World Trade Center and it ends up in the wrong mailbox or doesn't get answered, and it's very sort of demotivating. So to me, a vibrant functioning network has to have some characteristics. One is transparency, and by that I mean, if you are sitting in one World Trade Center thinking about contacting another World Trade Center, I think it's pretty interesting for you to know that that particular World Trade Center that you're reaching out to offers reciprocity, or that they don't offer reciprocity. Because if you send a request to someone that has flagged that I'm not reciprocal, by the way, then your expectations would be 0 to low, or low to 0. So just the transparency of going somewhere, clicking on a World Trade Center or a region, and finding out which ones offer reciprocity. So the way it's going to work is that we will we'll install basically a button on your intranet where you activate the reciprocity desk. You have to enter an email address. You have to so you know who will deal with the response. And after that, we're developing a standard interface. So it's going to be very, very easy to post a request. Have a trade mission coming to your city in 2 months. Can you help us? And then there will be after the response, there will be peer-to-peer evaluation. You're going to be asked to evaluate the other World Trade Center in terms of A, their responsiveness. Did they respond within 48 hours? And B, what was the quality of the response? So it's all standardized. It'll be really easy. And once we have this, and hopefully as many of you as possible will sign up for it, we will have a real reciprocal network. And meaning that those of you that want to be part of this, you will know who you are, and you can use this as a great tool. So to me, this is going to be a step change in the effectiveness of our network. So over the next few days, in terms of the regional discussion, there will be the regional breakout sessions where we can really engage and get into that. In terms of the digital discussion, there'll be several sessions around training and information, so we'll go deeper on that. But taking a step back, just my final slide, my view on next year, what we should be focused on are the following areas. I think, the first bullet point relates to what I think is the core of what we are. We are a brand, we are a network, and we are a service provider. And for us to become stronger as a network, those are the dimensions we have to strengthen. So in terms of the branding for next year, I think, we have spent a lot of effort to streamline the brand. We have the brand kit, which you can download, very easy for you to become brand compliant. A number of you have switched and become compliant, and for everyone that switches over and looks like this, the stronger the network is, and the more value the brand has. Next year, I think we want to go a little bit more on the offensive on the branding. I would like to spend a little bit more. I think we need a corporate video. We haven't produced one for years, and that's something that you can use for when you're having meetings. You can run a short corporate video that will explain what we're all about. So I think that's very much in demand. Some more corporate material, a PR. We basically have not had a PR budget. I think we should become a little bit more visible. So branding will be a focus area, certainly. And then the network, I think there's two things that are going to make the network stronger. One is that the network is growing de facto. And then I think the reciprocity desk and the efforts we're making to make the network, to connect the dots, will continue in that vein, and I think we can make a lot of progress there. In the services, this is again where we hope very much to get your input during the meeting today and tomorrow, which is around, we can build pretty much anything on the platform. We have a lot of ideas. We have a list of 10 potential projects. B2B is very high up on that list. But we really want to hear from you what you're looking for, so that we don't build stupid things that you have no use for. So development of new solutions. What I can say that we will introduce next year is the B2B platform. And a B2B platform can be pretty much anything you want it to be. So again, you have to help us define what kind of B2B platform would be most useful for you. And it can be that it probably is a regional dimension. So it may be that the B2B platform that the Chinese want is different from the ones they want in Europe. So we have to look at the regional. So I think the B2B is not going to be a silver bullet in terms of one thing that will fix everything. I think it'll be a number of different solutions that we can combine through our platform. But that's something for us to discuss over the next few days. And now, obviously, with Aaron on board, we have a better competency in New York to help develop this. But B2B is number one on our target list for next year. Regional strategies, I think I covered that. North America being a huge priority. I have great hopes that Europe will get much better organized by end of this year, early next year. We can come more on the offensive. The good thing I should say about Europe is we do have actually some interest in new licenses starting to rejuvenate. So I really start to believe that Europe may be coming back. Business model. This business model hasn't really changed in 46 years. It was started as a pretty simple, membership, pay your dues, pay your initiation fee, and that's the revenues, and then we provide some services, and that's it. I think we must become much more dynamic, and we're doing that now. Because if you think about, let's say, B2B and e-commerce, we as an association are non-for-profit. We may be restricted in what we can do to offer commercial services at a profit. But what we can do is we can actually own for-profit entities in our structure. So as a non-profit, we are legally allowed to own for-profit companies. So I can see, and this is what we're looking at, that in the future we could have a number of for-profit entities as service providers to our members, or have members help provide services to other members on a commercial basis. So this is still early days, but it's what the board are looking at, and I think the business model has to evolve, and I think the key drivers will be technology, and decentralization. It's not enough to be sort of in New York City. We have to be global.